Well, what's up? So today we're gonna change out the head on this cobalt string trimmer. So I've got a 120 volt cobalt string trimmer, and it's the attachment capable edition. So I don't know if this is across the board or if this is just for this one, but I'm gonna show you how to take this one off. So as you can see, you don't need that guard. Take it off there. Now my trimmer has seen better days. It's lost the eyelets on both sides, and you know it just doesn't load and unload real effectively anymore. So I ordered a new one on the interwebs, and we're just going to take this one off and put that new one on. Now once you get to here, you can see there's no nuts or bolts or anything. You say, well, how do I get that off? Glad you asked. Check this out. So in the top of this, you'll see a little hole on the, so if you're facing it, it'll be on your left side. Now I got just a little hook. You can use whatever will fit down in there, but make sure it's a thick enough metal so that it'll actually stop it once you start turning it and not just bend out of the way. So what you want to do is turn it. You want to turn it until it grabs. Maybe. Well, maybe not. I done this a minute ago. I felt it. It's 'cause you're watching me. Man. Alright. So that's what it is. It stopped the shaft from spinning. So now you got the old one off, and see it's just flat on the bottom, and then it's got a old washer that come with it. Mine's got some ancient grass wrapped around it. Looks like a nice little grassy gasket, but that ain't what it is. We can toss that to the side. We ain't gonna need it no more. Now for right now, I'm gonna remove my little hook, and we're gonna get our other one out of the box here. Now this one I ordered on Amazon. Pretty nice. Seemed like some pretty tough construction. A lot of different fittings, and pretty nice head, and you know it's got the arrows where it lines up. You know, you don't have to take this off whenever you're going to load string. You just line those up. You feed your string through there. It's usually about 6 foot wide, so if you just measure your string to your wingspan, that's usually about how much you need. And you know, if you're a little shorter, you're probably not going to get as much. If you're a little taller, you get it. But you'll line that up. You feed it all the way through there. Make sure it's even on both sides, and then you know, you just wind it up till you get the length that you want. And if you get done winding and there's too much because you were a little bit too tall, stands to reason we ought to trim it, right? Okay. Alright, so made it down to this portion here. Now you see this one's got permanent eyelet construction, so we don't have to worry about the same thing happening that happened with the original head. And like I said, there's really nothing wrong with it. I've had it for several years. I've put quite a beating on it. It has took plenty of abuse. These electric, I know if you have a big yard, it's probably not feasible unless you have a lot of extension cord. I just so happen to have really heavy duty extension cord and lots of it, and my yard isn't really all that big, so I can plug up to 2 different places on my property and reach my entire everything I got, even on over into the neighbor's house on either side. you know, when I feel like doing something at their house. So what you're going to do is you're going to set it down on that shaft. Now, there are a number of different nuts and bolts that come along with this, along with the washer. Now, for this specific one, I don't know what size it uses. We're learning this together. I didn't do this before I hit the record button, and I'm not editing anything out. I'd rather you see the real process, and you know. So you're going to want one that doesn't have a stud on one end. So A, B, and C is not going to work because that shaft is threaded to the outside, not to the inside. And so A, B, and C that have the outside whatever, can't use them. So we'll just put them back down in the box. Now there is some instructions right here, but honestly I'm going to see if I can do it without the instructions first. And then we'll see how it goes. Tell you what, before we set that down on there, let's figure out which one fits it. Well, maybe, maybe not. Alright, so C doesn't seem to want to do it. Let's see if B likes what it's doing. So now, you notice there's the hex side and then the rounded side. So I'm going to put the rounded side down on my weed eater. Why? Well, because this is hexed on the inside. And so I want it to be able to hold it. And I guess, in all honesty, it probably doesn't matter which way, because I'm just skipping out on some threads in the beginning. So I'm actually going to try this the other way now, since it wouldn't screw on. That way, let's put it top side, you know, rounded to the top where it skips threads. And one thing that I forgot is this is threaded counter. So lefty to tighten, right to loosen. B seems to work pretty good. Before I move on, let me do A and C. Alright, so the C bolt is too tight. So far, letter B is working pretty good. Let's try A, even though I'm pretty sure it's B. Yeah, that won't fit at all. Okay, so for this Cobalt 120 volt, serial number is Kilo Bravo Alpha 1000509, and it was made April 1st, 2021, and I bought it, you know, sometime shortly thereafter that, and I've had it ever since, and it's been a really good weed eater. A lot of torque, and I like it because I don't have to have something constantly running. I can just walk through the yard when I hit a spot that needs, you know, some attention. I can top lever, trigger, I can just bump it a little bit. I don't have to, you know, wide open or whatever. I don't have to run a lot of gas, 2-cycle, you know, maintenance, all that. I mean, if that's, listen, I have gas-powered trimmers and equipment, all that, but sometimes just for the sake of convenience, or if I'm not in any kind of hurry today, then I'll just use this, especially if I'm trying to have a conversation or whatever. You know, sometimes it's just easier to do that. Alright, so we're going to put this down on here, set that like that, drop that down, and we just, so you can stop that with your finger until you can't, and we're just going to turn this base with that nut down in it until it's tight. And see if you can see down in there, you know, it's seating down pretty good. I've never done this before. I've changed plenty of string and I've run them for hours and hours on end, but you know, usually, hate to admit it, I just kind of move on to the next one when one breaks down, and I'm trying to change some of my ways. So we're gonna go back to that hole that we got, and I'm gonna stick my little rig down in there. Now, see, it stops the shaft from spinning when you're turning this. So you can see now that's, you know, recessed way down in there, like the fattiest part of my index finger is making it a pretty good way. And I'm gonna just past tight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know it ain't going nowhere, but you know, also, I get ready to do this again. I don't want to have to break my hand to do it. Alright, so now that we've got that part on there, and I'm sorry you're not able to see better. I ain't no daggum content creator. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't. I'm kind of experimenting with some of this. Now, the little head will go down in there. The cap goes on top of that. You just make sure it's snapped in place. This jerker was snug when I got it out of the box. Like, it literally took me and my son to get this thing off. And it come off easier this time, but you know, just kind of be prepared. And I'll show you. And I'm not gonna list no link, but I'll give you the thing for it, just so that if you want one, you can get one. I'm not gonna make no money off of it, but it's a Toussaint Universal. So TOUSSAINT Universal. And it's a trimmer head, and whenever you scroll down through there, you can look at the specs and other things, and it'll tell you whether that's compatible with your weed eater or not. Like I said, there's multiple different bolt options. There's, you know, a washer and all that. So I think for the most part, it is universal, like it says. I hadn't tried it on anything else, but there it is, boys. Now let's they sent me some string with it. Now, I'm almost certain I didn't click on the option to get string with it because I've got a whole spool of string, but whoever packaged this box either give me somebody else's or they were just being nice, and I was like, well, here, we'll give him some string. This is .095. I think I usually use something that's a little bit thicker than that, just because if you're like me, I'm kind of prone to running into things, and you know, I can't run that jugger like Dusty Scruggs can. And you probably don't know who that is. That's the buddy I went to school with, and that's basically the Southern Lawn Daddy of North Carolina. I'm just kidding. He's a cuss grass. Anyway, so here's a bunch of it, and it started turning orange on one part of it. But, So this right here, my wingspan is 6'3". I'm not 6'3", my wingspan is. And this is a decent amount longer than my wingspan, but what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna cut this. I'm not gonna cut this. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the good old boys in China at Toussaint decided we needed a little bit more string, and so I got my arrows lined up. You probably can't see, we're just out here in the workshop, but if you're working on something, you know good enough what it is. I'm feeding, no sign of it yet. I'll tell you what, let me I'm gonna pop this jerker loose. I'm gonna see if I can't feed it through with it off and then wander it through to the other side. That's what I did. See? So I just wasn't doing something right at first. Now you can't really see what I'm doing because I'm not exactly set up to be showing people nothing, but we're just gonna push it through that other hole and push it down in there. And I don't know if I got it on the wrong side or what, but this thing ain't wanting to. There we go. Now, it's still kind of bowed up a little bit on one side. I don't know. I've got it all the way down on that one side and all the way down on that other side, so I don't know, it might be operator error, it might be, like I said, it fit together a lot tighter than that when I first started, but let's just rank that string on through there. Just drag it on through. See, I got it lined up, and I'm just gonna pull it until you know what? The orange is the middle. So, we're in the middle. You know that, didn't you? You old dog. Now look at that. You slightly push in. There's little teeth that grab. But we're just winding it down. And there you go, boys. I tell you what I'll do. Let me unplug this fan so I can plug this cord up to the weed eater. I'll mount it on there and we'll see what it does. Hold on. Alright, you can probably hear a little bit better now. This video might be ruined because of that fan, but there's so many daggone mosquitoes out here, I just couldn't take it. So I'm putting it on now. And we're going to screw it. That's, man, one thing I love about these cobalts though is it don't matter if you have Cobalt, it don't matter if you have Craftsman, it don't matter if you have Hart, it don't matter. Well, them three I know of for sure, but so this attachment capable weed eater, I can take stuff like the hedge trimmer attachment off of my gas powered Craftsman and I can put it on here and, you know, run the corded, and then that way I can move my ladder. I can, you know, hang the weed eater from the ladder and do whatever I got to do. But let's see here. I ain't gonna do it all fancy. I'm just gonna hook it up. All right, let's see. You ready? Yeah. All right. Well, tell you what I'm gonna do. Take 2 more little turns. Bring it in just a little bit. And the only thing I've noticed is that you hear that the little metal plate that goes on the bottom of this is a little loose. Now, it may have always been loose. I don't think so. If it gets to be a problem, I'll take his head apart, back that bolt out, take this little plate off. But I kind of want to leave that plate on because I want to protect the internal mechanism that's in this head. And then at some point, I need to back that screw out right there. And if you go get, they actually have some string trimmer lube for this. The head on that, when you pop that cap open, when you screw the cap off and you bust the foil, that will screw into this. And then you just squeeze it until you see it come out somewhere. Unscrew it, put that back in there about once a season, once every. I hadn't done it in the life of the weed eater. But I have touched this before after doing some weed eating. And I would say the hotter it is, it probably has needed some lube for a while. I'm really hoping that that's clicked down all the way, or that there's not, you know, I don't know. Seems to be working though. And yeah, I can hear that plate a little bit, but for right now we're just gonna keep it. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the installation of the Toussaint Universal String Trimmer head. Went on 120 volt cobalt string trimmer. Seems to work pretty good. I'm not quite sure why this is not seated down the way it was when I took it out of the package. I'll tell you what, just for the sake of argument, and I'm going to hold this down. Let me flip this plate around. It should go on anyway. You know what? It has sides. It doesn't tell you that anywhere. But if you put it on and it does not seat all the way around one way, pop the caps, hold your button in place, flip it around, pop it down, because now this is down all the way, so it goes on one way. Good deal. Well, this is what Will's doing today. I done posted a few videos. My carpet cleaning business has been a little dead right now, so find me a little something to do when I ain't doing something else. Y'all have a good one.